should you get and build Poncirus? Short answer, probably no. Long answer, this entire video.
You're the doctor that Salon talked about, right? I'm Poncirus. Thanks for agreeing to provide medical assistance to us workers.
気分転換に散歩行こうよドクター。ずっと同じ場所にこもってると思考だって窮屈になっちゃうよ。
Arknights, codename Poncirus. A seasoned civil engineer who has lived in Colombia for the majority of her life, and worked on plenty of construction, renovation, and demolition projects. When talking about her, we can't help but notice that her story is a bit peculiar. It seems the girl keeps having misfortunes both big and small. But probably the most unlucky experience she has had so far is when she contracted oropathy. And since she was scammed out of her last savings for medical insurance, and doesn't want to be a Colombian pioneer, she decided to find her fortune in her birthplace in Siesta, and hoped to connect with the view that her grandpa often told her. After accidentally arriving in different freaking countries, she finally arrived at New Siesta, and met operator Salon. And Maya was later recommended to go to Rhodes Landship, and the green-haired girl eventually became our operator, while sometimes providing help to the engineering team to refurbish and renovate indoor spaces. And it is good to know despite her terrible luck, and suffering from oropathy, she keeps her optimism, and keeps on working hard at what she does best. Okay, Poncirus is our newest pioneer Vanguard. The archetype that we are most familiar with. Their 2 block count and rather tanky stats make them a reliable option to start your stage. And hold the line until you can deploy someone better. In Poncirus' case, she takes her defensive capability one step further. Although in this day and age, Pioneer often gets replaced by other Vanguard archetypes. Mainly when it comes to the endgame content. Unless they have some unique ability, like Texas Extra Initial DP, Saga SP support or Flame Tail Incredible Dodge for example. Then this is her stats. Got a tanky stats, and a cheap cost since she's a Vanguard and all. If only judging from the raw stats alone, she doesn't have anything too remarkable, with her stats almost similar to Zima. But with the addition of her talent and skill, she can have some impressive stats for a 5-star pioneer. Moving on, we got her only talent. That will boost her HP after she stays in the field for 30 seconds. If she's at full level, that means she got roughly 2600 HP. Almost equivalent to 5-star Guardian Defender. The time requirement is relatively short, but it still erases the opportunity if you need her to tank heavy hits right off the bat. Or making her into some kind of heli drop punching bag. Then this is her potential upgrade list. As Vanguard she could really use cheaper DP cost. So if you plan to use her often, having at least one extra pot will do her good. Well, if you went all out in her debut banner, you probably already obtained some, or all of her potential. Next up we'll see her module, and she got the X module, which will increase her attack and defense when she's blocking, in addition to adding more HP and defense. As for the upgrade, it will only increase the max HP buff. I was hoping she would get the time requirement reduced, or erase it entirely. But well, it is what it is. And I think it is not worth unlocking or even upgrading. Mainly if you only use her for a short time until you can deploy others. She is already more than tanky even without a module. And I don't think all those stats justify the material cost. Then let's see her skill. Skill 1 is just a basic charge Y that most 5 and 6 star pioneer have. Although it's not interesting, if somehow you only use her to obtain DP. This should be a better skill than her skill 2. But if that's the case, might as well get a standard bearer or the cheaper 4-star option. Next her skill 2. It will instantly generate some DP and obtain attack and defense buff. In addition, the second activation will also make this skill permanent. And she will obtain 1 DP every 4 seconds. With this and her talent, she will turn into a freaking toolnut with a hammer, giving her stats that are equivalent to a defender. It's a pretty good skill for some AFK gameplay, or to be used in something like Annihilation. But there are also some problems that I noticed. First of all, the DP generation is kinda low. Especially at second activation, it just goes downhill with that 1 DP every 4 seconds. And the permanent effect take roughly more than a minute to get there. Unnecessarily a long time for a Vanguard. Although you can use Bagpipe's talent to ease this slightly. And in most cases, since she is obviously not the only Vanguard you would use, by the time this skill's second activation is ready, you most likely already have enough DP to fill the stage with better operators. Okay, for skill mastery priority, I don't think she has one. But if you want, definitely S2 is your choice. It boosts what she does best, defense, and the game still looks pretty solid if you care about all those stats. For her base skill, she will increase byproduct rate when making building materials, and reduce moral consumed when making items with 4 moral cost. So ladies and gents, should you get and build this one luck stat bird? Gameplay wise, I think her ability isn't on the same level of disappointment like Windflit or Hool Hayak. She's solid, but for Vanguard, especially Pioneer, there are just way too many alternatives and better options to invest first nowadays. Heck, if you play during her debut, you should have this free 5-star selector. The options include some of the best starting Vanguard that still has use even in endgame content like Black Knight, Texas and Elysium. And speaking of Texas, she's free from pinboard missions, although it can take quite a while to clear. For long-time players with a variety of Vanguard options, especially someone with a flagpipe combo, you most likely don't need her. But Poncirus is still a good and reliable option for new players, mainly someone who starts in a Gibraltar event. In Elite 1, generally she should do better than all 4-star Pioneer, or even some 5-star. But getting past Elite 1, you better consider other operators first. Some of those you have might be better to prioritize to Elite 2. That should be all. Adios.